Sal, we've had FBI Director Kash Patel droning on about the UFC. How you doing today?
Jason, it's been a crazy week. There's been a lot of news. I broke a lot on my own show, and I watched this event. I'm going to say this UFC event that we're discussing. And the reason I wanted this to be one of the main topics is because I've been trying to wrap my head around this despite everything else that I've gotten. So I watched this event on Sunday night. I know it was Flag Day, it's Trump's birthday. I have to be honest, it's one of the greatest sporting events I've ever watched. Right up there with Super Bowls or World Series, anything major, World Cup. Uh, soccer stuff like my team, Inter being Champions League final, stuff like that. This was a incredibly put together event. And then you hear 2 days later, there's some plot that was foiled. Some drones were supposed to, you know, do some damage. And you only hear about this because I think in the middle of the day, I believe it was on Tuesday or Wednesday, Kash Patel jumps in front of this. And everyone starts going nuts and saying, "Oh, the FBI, they thwarted a terror plot." And you and I both know. And this, once you see this, you go, "Wait a minute, let's take a step back," because no one even heard about any of this stuff. This just came out of nowhere, because when the facts starts trickling in, it was the sheriff's department and the police that actually foiled this, because the mother of one of these so-called domestic terrorists called, and that's how they got all of this stopped. And I would like to point out also, Jason, if this was such a huge thing and so bad, how come the event still went forward despite the fact that you just had a potential terrorist plot, domestic terrorist plot thwarted, yet you were never notifying anyone? And how serious was this, Jason? And I
That's,
mean, you've been involved in all this kind of stuff before, so I know it's a long, winding road for you. But again, we're here at this intersection again.
it's funny that his mother thwarted it. He's like, "Hey,
His
you
mother,
forgot
yeah,
your
foiled the whole
lunch."
thing. But we've just listen. We've been through this over and over again,
I
right?
just don't believe it. Kash Patel, I think it's nonsense. What? Here's the thing, Sal. I mean, if someone was in charge of giving you billions of dollars to conduct law enforcement, wouldn't you be kind of motivated to make them think you were actually doing something, even though you're actually incompetent? So the more of these fake Gretchen Whitmer plots, the more of these fake Port of Charleston terror bomb threat plots that you thwart. And then when you're like, "Well, we need $30 billion," they say, "Oh, it's a good thing you thwarted that drone plot. That guy's mother forgot to pack his lunch."
Yeah, I
So
mean, I find I said this was like tailor made for you, because you always do all these deep dives. You always pull up the indictments, all the court paperwork. And if you could grab any of this stuff, and none of this is making sense, by the way. It's more than a couple of people involved. One guy from Ohio, he's 30 years old. The other one's a kid. And how did the FBI? They became aware of this through the police. This was not an FBI, like they had nothing to do with this. They pick up all the pieces after the fact, right? And then, oh, here we are to save the day. Kash Patel, who was God knows what he was doing, right? And then you heard the usual suspects, Dan Bongino, who he did nothing. He was one of the worst
what did
deputy
he say?
directors. He jumped in. Oh, what a FBI! You got this is whole spiel where he's suckering all his viewers to buy more stuff from him or whatever scam he's running these days. And then it's always, oh, what a great job. This guy used to always ask questions and be like, oh, I don't know about this. Now it's don't worry about it. Everything's under control. Meanwhile, they had him all wrapped up in their finger, right around their finger when he was there. None of this, just looking at this from afar, and I haven't really grabbed any of these documents. It just, I can't wrap my head around what happened, and saying, so this thing was so dangerous.
He had to go there with his hot girlfriend and just be like,
Yeah,
"Ooh, I mean, come on, that's ridiculous."
he
This is
was
him
there.
at the thing. Yeah,
He was there. So how is this so dangerous that you showed up to the event
on a date.
with your girlfriend on top of it? How serious could this have been? And I mean, he ran the social media. He jumped in front. He pushed the cart in front of the horse, which is a fatal mistake people make. He pushed the cart in front of the horse with this, and he started taking credit. And I don't know if you could pull up anything involving indictments. None of this makes sense. You could probably scour social media and find people finding holes through this and saying, your official story and what really went on here is not adding up yet again, just like we saw not too long ago with a certain someone's assassination. So it's always the same suspects, meaning
Something
the
sketchy. Yeah.
government suspects, right? And we're all here left, wondering with your hands up in the sky saying, what just happened? Mind you, this event was one of the greatest sporting events I've ever seen. If you watch, you should watch it. It was unbelievable. Yet there was supposed to be a couple of people that were going to destroy this whole thing, not
But
even a couple hours prior.
don't they have counter drone technology at the White House? I mean, you're trying to tell me anybody can just fly a DJI drone up to the White House? Wouldn't it be like disrupted by this? I also haven't seen really anything about this other than Kash Patel. I mean, everything basically here is just saying FBI disrupted it. But I mean, this is.
But they didn't. That's
That's
what
what
I
I
tell you,
mean.
Jason. It was done by the police. They had nothing. FBI basically comes in after everything's all wrapped up and say, "Oh, you hand me that envelope. We'll take care of it." That's what they did here. You could read this, and none of this makes sense. How this went down, how the FBI is now like champion that they did all these amazing things here. Jason didn't know anything. They didn't know about this. It was the police. It was the mother that turned him in. The police did all the work.
There's some complaint in the Southern District of Ohio
After the fact.
where they're getting charged, right?
Yeah,
So
it's not because the original work was done by the police officers. That's what I'm trying to say. It's always police that they do all the work, and they also get
shafted.
yeah, they get shafted, and a lot of times they do
Let's
stupid
see
things.
what the not controlled by CIA news has to say. Feds reveal details of alleged plot to attack White House UFC event with explosive drones. FBI said Tuesday that it disrupted an attempt to attack Sunday's UFC Freedom 250 event at the White House. Court records detail an alleged plot to use small drones carrying explosives and snipers to target senior government officials and wealthy attendees. 5 people have been charged for their alleged roles in the scheme. This is a scheme. Each has
It's a
been
scheme.
arrested.
How serious can this be taken, though? How did he not know? But U.S. See, here's the thing. You see what it says? It's in regards to the U.S. handling of Israel and
Does it say
the
that?
Epstein files. Yeah, it says it right there. It says it right there. Little, you see it? U.S. support
Jeffrey
for
Epstein,
Israel.
yes, support of Israel, handling of the Epstein files, and data centers. Oh, come on. This is nonsense. This is all you know what? This is the FBI doing exactly what the Joe Biden FBI did, where they're like, oh, see these people, they don't like Israel, Epstein, or data centers. They're terrorists. So anybody doing anything with any of that is going to be labeled a terrorist. So that's what they want to do.
It definitely you're definitely onto something. And on top of it, when it announced all this stuff, what did they do? What does this help, Jason? They have this whole thing about Pfizer, right? Pfizer warrants. And now they're going to say, "Oh, we
Exactly.
need that.
Got to
We
be
need
able
that
to investigate these guys. They're domestic terrorists.
They're domestic terrorists." But meanwhile, the FBI had absolutely nothing to do with this because the police did all the work. They come in at the end like a train wreck, kind of like when if you're a police officer in New York City, right, NYPD, we have you can't open the door if it's locked. So you have to call the fire department, and you don't want these guys. They don't really work. They don't really do much other than, they're on the ladder and they use the fire hoses. And I understand
Firemen
it's great shape.
don't. They run into the burning buildings. What are you talking about?
Police officers actually could do the same thing. The ESU unit. I'm just saying because I would train with these guys. We could all do the same thing. But
This is the classic cops versus firefighters argument.
but the firemen come, and here they come with that giant axe and whatever little tools they have to come and break down doors. Because this is the only action they really have other than, with the hose and climbing ladders. So
They,
here they
they take
come.
money from Turkey to do whatever with Eric Adams on the buildings,
Yeah.
giving out.
Well, that could be the executives. But the fire department guy, they come, they
No,
break
come
down
on.
a
We like
door.
the firefighters. September 11th, the firefighters, they ran into that building. That fire
I saw the
department is good.
cops. The cops did
Uh,
too.
they
I'm
lost
just
like
saying
390 firefighters on
the
9/11.
fire department runs in. They don't have the same action, we'll say, as police do, right? Police
Okay.
get, I
Yeah.
mean, it's everywhere. A cop is there first and doing all the hard work. But they're known to go to these jobs, or we'll say these calls where there's a locked door, or so they come with the door jam, which is really just an axe. And here they come, they want to butcher the door. I've been there. And then you know what happens? They don't sit around, they leave. And then the cop has to sit because it's a city involved incident, meaning they have to file a report and wait for the owner of the building or the owner of the apartment, whatever, to come. And then because they have to put a sticker on it because the door's broken. So this is like kind of the stuff I'm trying to tell you with the fire department. But it's just interesting. As I said, like that's what the FBI is doing. They
Well,
come in to break the door down, and the cops did all the work and doing all this nonsense, and then they leave.
and I think there's
They're taking
something
all the
else.
credit too while they're at it.
Something else too, Sal. So here's the soccer mom. Everybody knows about drones. They've been around for a while, and it's like, hey, this is a good way to get money. We need to take measures to protect the city from weaponized drones. Now, New York City is a much larger target than the White House lawn. I've got to imagine there are like super top secret anti-drone. Anybody could just fly a drone right into the White House at any time if they didn't have it. I think they probably have the most sophisticated counter drone technology at the White House. A bunch of idiots sitting around in Ohio saying, oh, let's fly a DJI drone into the wrestling match. It's like, no, that's not going to work. So they have a plot, and the cops tell the FBI, there's no way this was an actual risk, I don't think.
No, this doesn't. This doesn't pass the smell test for me. It's something. If this was so serious, Jason, the whole thing would have been canceled. You would have heard about it. Not worried about Daniel Cormier's Twitter exchanges with Eric Trump, which basically
That went away.
that should be an investigation. It's very odd how they were talking about. He posts something that shows that Eric Trump is looking for insider information, and then it's not him, it's AI, but it can't be AI because Daniel Cormier posted it. Then Daniel Cormier backtracks about 15 minutes later. Oh, you guys believe that? And then the story is he was hacked.
Yeah,
But we don't know if
everybody's
people called
hacked.
him. Everybody, we don't know if the phone call came
Everything
in.
is AI. Everybody's
Yeah, everything's
hacked.
AI. It's all AI. When you clearly see he posted it, and it's Eric. You can't fake Eric Trump's
Here,
handle because he has a little flag on there. It's him. It's not a fake Eric Trump.
I mean,
So
anything could be faked. I just don't understand what are the details around that story, and we haven't really seen a very good explanation of it. Now,
of course,
there's an
because
interesting
it
angle on
involves
this.
someone important.
Interesting angle on this here. Let's see if we can get this Forbes article. They want to have you pay to read this. It's got ads popping up. Here, wait, maybe we can get it on archive.org. What's
This
happening?
is. I'm telling you, this is
Here,
fascinating stuff for people. People need to
it says
monitor this.
DOJ claims alleged UFC assassination plot justifies building the ballroom. Aha. So
Oh,
now we start to get the picture. I mean, again, anything like this always seems to be, oh, see, now we need the ballroom. What were they going to do? They're going to have a UFC fight in a ballroom? How does this whole thing is stupid, Sal.
I told you, it feels like something is off here, and I can't put my finger on it, but it'll probably come out the longer this drags on. But to hear that this out of nowhere came out of, and by the way, the president not once mentioned anything. Not
Right.
Sunday, not Monday. He was over in France. He's dealing with trying to have peace with Iran. I think he had that. Then Israel messed everything up, blew up Lebanon last night. Like they always don't follow the agreements, and now we're back to square one you had a whole week of the markets finally, subsiding, everything's going normal, your gas is dropping, and boom, here comes, you got to blow up Hezbollah's in Lebanon, all this. It's the same thing you hear every day. It's just when does this go off? They keep everybody in check is almost impossible. But I didn't hear him mention once there was a terror up until they announced this, and he would know because they have to brief him.
I'm
Hey,
surprised Cash Patel wasn't funneling beers at that drone
yeah,
attack.
I mean, that's another. I mean, so you're telling me there was this whole plot and they didn't tell the president, and he
Yeah.
doesn't feel that it's
Just
important
show up
enough
with
to
the
say.
smiling girlfriend and do a country music song. Well, let me shift gears for a second, Sal, because we got to talk about the soccer mom, and also Zoran
Oh, yeah.
Mamdani is apparently
Yes.
joining the Knicks. We had millions of revelers. It didn't seem quite as much chaos as the night that they won, but it was a big parade. What are you hearing? You had some really good videos on X at the Sal Greco of maniacs shooting each other. What were they doing out there at the?
There's a lot of things going on. First of all, I'm going to say I know that the NYPD police officers that were assigned to this, talking about every rank, if you were a supervisor, you could probably get away with taking the NYPD vehicle, the RMP there. That wasn't the case for many other officers. They had to drive their own vehicles, which is ridiculous. And you can't use your NYPD parking plaque because they'll smash your car and do all kinds of stuff if you come near that.
Oh, I thought
Then,
Kaz Daughtry gave him away to everybody.
yeah, and Kaz Daughtry gave him away, right? But so that's one part. Then if you use the parking garage with your personal vehicle, that's costing you money, the very money you're earning that day. So you're working to park your car in a garage, apparently. So that was stupid. That was a wink and a nod where they're ordering you to do something without ordering you to do it. But they weren't taking cars there, taking the regular cars there. They got to take their personal cars there. There are police academy recruits, Jason. They wear the gray shirts.
I saw them out standing on the street. They were very
Gun and
unusual.
Shield Day. Gun and Shield Day is Monday.
What do you mean?
They were out there without a shield and without a gun.
What does
So
that
that's
mean, Gun
another-
and Shield Day?
They don't have guns, Jason. They don't have guns and they don't have shields.
They're
And they
not
don't have
cops
body
yet. They're
cameras.
students.
They're still technically, you have to wait till they graduate. They give you the guns and the shield, and at moment now you can wear. They weren't even
Oh,
wearing body
this
cameras.
coming Monday is Gun and Shield Day, where they
Correct.
get the guns and shield. I thought
Correct.
you meant every Monday was like put on your gun
No,
and shield.
This
Yeah, no, they were just out on the street. The police academy people.
without without that, without a body camera. Oh, the body cameras that every police officer is supposed to wear, they were completely discharged because, Jason, they've been working around the clock for so many straight days. Their equipment was malfunctioning, meaning you have to charge these things with it's a battery. They work, they don't work. Who the hell knows? They just threw everyone out there. Then we have, I'll give you another one I didn't even mention yet. There were pens. I don't know if you saw this. The pens where the players were, we call it a pen, but it's where you see the barriers and the players and the mayor and all those guys on the podium. Underneath there's police officers, and then there's areas where that area is supposed to be for family members, people that know the people up there.
Alicia Keys.
Yeah, or the family members of the basketball players, family members of the police, family members, just people that they either A, bought a ticket, or B, are a close relative. So some police officers, who, by the way, are working nonstop, they're working with 20 tour changes. They've been turned, their shifts have been changed 20 times. They're entitled to overtime. You're not allowed to do that because they're going to retaliate against you. So and also you have a 6-hour differential in between your tour, meaning if you worked one shift, you need a 6-hour break before the next shift. That doesn't exist anymore right now, Jace. They're violating all kind of contract and labor laws. And
That's because of the soccer mom?
That's the soccer mom and Tanya Kinsella doing all this, the first deputy commissioner. So police officers were there, and look, they've been working, like basically being abused. So they decide, look, we have a list of people that we have here, our family members, people that pay tickets, and then people that weren't on the list. Let's say it was their mom or their dad showed up. Oh, I want my dad to sit next to whatever or stand over there. And she said to the chief of department, absolutely not. And any police officer that does this, I want to give them a command discipline, meaning I'm going to
Oh,
discipline. This is her, the chief
you
of
can
department.
sexually assault in one police plaza. No one will say
Yeah.
anything, but if you try to watch Alicia Keys, you're in trouble.
Yeah, yeah. You're watching Alicia Keys and Jalen Brunson holding up the championship. You're in trouble. Your family member can't go to. Mind you, these officers, Jason, were standing around for hours. They've been working like slaves, essentially, on foot posts for your little FIFA and all this other nonsense you have going around. And all they want is let me have my mom and my dad sit over there or stand over there. No. And if you do that, I'm going to punish you and retaliate against you. That's what they were threatening. So the chief of department and her were at words yesterday. He said, no, they're allowed to do that. I'm gonna okay it. She goes, no, you're not. So that was going on. Meanwhile, there were, how can I say this? I don't know if you want to call these people Nick fans. I don't know who they are. They were climbing scaffolding, passing out,
Yeah,
falling off. There
twerking
was
on Dwayne Reed. Yeah.
millions of people there, Jason. There were more people at this parade than vote in New York City, which is why you have all these issues. Because if you show the same passion for real important issues as you did for the basketball team, you wouldn't be in this mess. So the streets were packed. There was incidents all over, by the way. And I understand, and you can't be perfect, but I mean, this is some of it. Look at this stuff. This is tapered off compared to what really went on.
Mm,
They jumped on top of RMPs, the NYPD vehicles. There was scenes like this. There was fights
mm,
going on. And then after this thing begins to disperse, right? The parade's kind of over. They had the ceremony. Everyone's leaving. For everyone who said, oh, my kids were there, we had a great time, Times Square had a brutal incident where a man was stabbed in his face or slashed. I mean, look at that. All these people on top of the car. Slashed. His face was being held together with a shirt. Okay, he was bleeding so bad. And moments after this, a 17-year-old fired a weapon in Times Square, right in the same vicinity, and was captured and apprehended by the police department. So those two things stick out. Whether they're related to the parade or not, it's because of the parade. Everyone is out and about in the daytime, and the NYPD, for what it's worth, with 10,000 people, the most. Jason, this was the most police officers stationed at an event in the history of New York City.
unbelievable, right?
10,000, and with all the incidents that occurred or may have occurred or could have gotten worse, kudos to the NYPD, not the soccer mom, because you're still mistreating cops all over the place with what you were saying to them that weren't allowed to bring their family members in. They're standing around. Oh, you know what she did, Jason? There's women that have to give breast milk. They're kind of not on the street right now because they had a baby.
Cops?
Yeah, she had them on foot posts, so they have to have a station like their milk is going rotten for their
Oh,
kids while
God.
they're
They shouldn't be
standing.
cops if they've got a kid to take care of. I'm sorry to say. Maybe
Why
that's
are they even
sexist.
out there?
Yeah, they
She
shouldn't
ordered
be.
it. She ordered this.
It's ridiculous.
And everything's, you had to see there was a canteen and a bag right where the female cop was standing. There's a bunch of them, by the way, that were out there. How do you do that to women who shouldn't even be out there right now? You have them standing out there and you can't even provide things like that. That is an important thing. They have a child to take care of.
It's
There's
not.
milk out there going
Shouldn't be
rotten.
a cop.
And
They got a child to take
it's
care of. They
just
should be
this was
taking care of the kid.
she is a disaster as
Now, wait a
far as
minute,
how she
Sal.
runs.
What does this have anything to do with the Knicks? This guy's the new spokesperson for Depends, adult undergarments.
Oh, geez. No, this happened. I believe
Puerto
this was
Rican
not
parade?
related to that, but this guy actually at the end, you're going to see that I believe he peed himself.
You got
If
so
you look at his
excited.
pants,
Oh,
yeah, you'll see it. He peed himself. So I don't know if he peed on
probably
him.
drunk.
Yeah, but it's just, I mean, this is a daily occurrence. There's no respect with anyone out there. But in regards to this celebration, and look, I understand it's great to have celebrations and a parade. And the Knicks haven't won in 53 years and never even had a ticker tape parade. So that's an actual fact. You can look that up. That was the first ticker tape parade in the history of New York City for the New York Knickerbockers. But
Because in the 70s, the last time they won, the city said it had a fiscal crisis. Well, I
yeah,
want to talk to you about this actually when we get over to our sponsor exclusive segment. People are going to be able to join us for that in 5 minutes on thesalgreco.substack.com or crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, also on subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. We're going to get to some more questions about the parade, the soccer mom, FIFA, all kinds of things. So stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back.